Jolan True, everyone. Welcome to another Antares Shipyard live stream. Tonight I am doing the debut episode for a new series that I've been piloting and working on. It is called Build Breakdown. I'm not. In some episodes, we're going to break down entire builds, entire fleets. In this episode, we're actually going to take a look at a small piece of a fleet. Um, excuse me. Tonight, I'm actually going to be looking at a ship that I consider to be one of my favorites that's in the game today. It seems to be criminally underplayed, if you ask me, but that is the I.K.S. Vorn from the 2017 Federation vs. Klingon starter pack. And I know, you guys are going to say that the reason why it's probably underplayed is because those fashion packs are super hard to find. And those are all valid reasons. Even the multiple reasons that you come up with why it's not being played, all valid. Um, Good news is in the world of Tabletop Simulator, that supply and demand is not really a barrier, so to speak. So it's in here. Anyone can use it. And that's where I'm seeing it not being played very much is in the Fremont Reformation League. Um, Looking at all the builds, I don't think I've actually ever seen it outside of my own. Um, but I'm hoping that this kind of video will kind of break down why I think this ship is good, and maybe it'll get your creative juices flowing to build with it. Um, I know a lot of people don't like to play Klingons. There are people that are dedicated to playing only Klingons, but these ships kind of seem like glass cannons, and I'm hoping to change your mind. Okay, so with the premise of the episode out of the way, let's go ahead and let's jump on over to the table. Hello, everyone. So we're going to see, we've got the ship card and the ship model out here inside the menu. Let's get these centered on screen. Um, so the I.K.S. Vorn is a Cavort class. It is not a Burrell, which is a bonus. That's a plus. So its stats are 4153. The shields in this build really don't matter um, because the Vorn's going to want to be cloaked. And we'll go over that a little bit more in detail when we start getting into the builds. Now, the ship itself, I think, suffers because it doesn't have a rear firing arc like some of the other Cavorts do. It does have a 90 forward firing arc and then another 45-degree bullseye target arc in it. But I think there's only really one card that uses um, that bullseye arc, and I'll be completely honest with you guys. That's not a card that I use for this build, so it's not. We're not going to see it tonight. Um, Looking at the movement template, it's got 3 green maneuvers, all the ones, and a forward 2. Um, the rest of the 2s are white, and it's only got 3 red maneuvers, which is the hard turns 3s, and then the come about 3. So overall, the maneuverability of the ship isn't bad. Um, it looks bad this way, but when you take into account sensor echoing, and that's going to be a big part of all these builds that you're going to see tonight, um, maneuvering becomes a whole different game when you start talking sensor echoing and where to be on the board. Um, excuse me. So with that said, let's kind of zoom out here. I do want to grab some of these. And I think let's grab this guy just in case we want to use it later. Okay, so the reason why I like to use this build so much, and one of the people who really pioneered this build for me um, is, believe it or not, somebody we all know in the community, his screen handle, you might know him out there as Crazy Vulcan. Believe it or not, he doesn't play Vulcans very often. His forte and his go-to is generally Klingons. So he started playing with us at our local group here in Michigan. A year ago, a year and a half ago, something like that. When he moved back to his home state of Indiana, he drove up to play with us. We're not that far from the Indiana border. He doesn't live that far from the Michigan border. So, um, but he brought this Vorn, and the Vorn that you're seeing on the screen is not his Vorn. His Vorn, I don't have the exact build specifications for, um, but another person in our group um, saw the light, so to speak. His name was Skylar, and he actually started playing with this Vorn that you see on the screen. And this Vorn is very good. Uh, this Vorn won many tournaments, even being the last ship standing. So why? Let's break down the first card, which is the Vorn itself, and why I like it so much. Um, I don't know. Maybe you guys can't read this. I may have to blow the cards up here. Here, let's do it this way. Okay. So we're going to scale these up. It's going to look like a mess. Just as long as we have them in a line, that works for me. Kick Wharf out, Toral. Perfect. Okay. So the I.K.S. Vorn. We already went over its stats. It's at 24 points. So it's the cheapest of the cavorts, from named cavorts. None of the other named cavorts have been, recosted down to this price point. So this being the cheapest cavort works better for me in terms of cost saving. It's got evade, target lock, cloak, sensor echo, standard cloaking Klingon bar, tech, weapon slot, 2 crew slots. The 2 crew slots is very important in this build. The ability, when attacking, if this ship is cloaked, okay, so right there, we know that we're going to want to be cloaked a lot. If the defending ship is at range 1, this ship rolls +2 attack dice. If the defending ship is at range 2, this ship rolls +1 attack dice. Okay, great. So if we're cloaked and we've got an enemy in our forward firing arc at range 1, we are rolling 7 attack dice. 7 attack dice. You get the +2 bonus for being at range 1, bringing you up to 6, and then you get the +1 for range bonus, which is outside of the rule of 3, which is where the next card comes in. Lursa. At the beginning of the game round, you may flip this card. Okay, we don't want to flip this card. There's a small reason to flip the card, and we'll kind of go over that. When attacking, if this ship is cloaked. Okay, so now we've got 2 cards that need to be on a cloaking ship. Well, 2 cards that need you to have a cloak token. Wonderful. This ship rolls +1 attack die. So right there, she brings you to the cusp of rule 3. So she allows you to roll 7 and then +1 for range 1, which makes it 8. That's great. So you can hit hard at range 1 with this ship. At range 2, it's 7. So you're still hitting pretty hard. Granted, the drawback here is that you have to be in the forward firing arc, but that's where the sensor echoing and just maneuvering around the board knows. It takes some practice to learn how to fly a cavort, but if you can do it and you can do it, then you can do it well. If you keep practicing, you'll get the sensor echoing down. So now we've gotten now we've gotten the attack to the ceiling, right? So what's next? Well, we're going to need some quality. So the next card in the line here is Admiral Gowron. Great. Fleet action, if there's not already a battle station token beside your ship, place one battle station token beside your ship. In addition, if your ship is a Klingon ship with a Klingon captain assigned to it, you may immediately perform an additional action from your action bar as a free action. Okay, so the order of operations for doing an action after moving, you always do the Gowron action first. Even if you are round one coming out of your starting area, do the Gowron action. You need to get in the habit of just doing the Gowron action. He's going to give you a free action off your action bar. So you can do that cloak, you can do that sensor echo, and then you'll have the battle station token. Granted, you won't get the perfect quality with a target lock in a battle station, but we have something built into this fleet as a contingency plan for that. Okay, so we know we want the Vorn to stay cloaked. So we're going to use the Klingon cloaking device. This this card allows you to stay cloaked. I will warn that you do not use it. I wouldn't use it at your first try unless you're not going to be into combat or anything in the next couple of rounds. And the reason I say that is because the top ability is just as important as the bottom ability with this card, especially for the Vorn. So the top ability is when defending, if the ship is cloaked, convert a blank evade dice into an evade. Bang, built-in quality for your defense dice right there. You're always going to get one evade, even if you roll a blank defense die. If you're cloaked, you're getting your +4 bonus. So the Vorn is rolling 5 defense dice. So you could roll an evade and then 4 blanks, and that Klingon cloaking device will convert one into another evade. In phase, place 3 time tokens on this card. Flip this ship's cloak token to its green side. There are other ways to do this, but I found this card is the most cost effective because it's only 2 points. The only downside is you have to know when to play it. You know, if 3 time tokens, that's really you're waiting 2 complete rounds to get this back up. So you have to, and you gotta understand when you have time tokens on this card, you don't get the top ability either. That's the card is considered blank until those time tokens are off. So you have to. I generally use it when I know there isn't going to be combat in one of those rounds, um, or if there is, I got to make sure that I have enough hull that the combat is more sacrificial than anything else. So the next card in the line is Toral. Whoops. When defending, the ship may convert a battle station into an evade. Okay, here's one half of Hoodriker, but he's Klingon, 2 points, cheap defense, and he helps convert a battle station into an evade. So he's your third evade that the Vorn needs. So on average, you could be getting 3 evades each time you roll, and that's great. That helps the Vorn out because the Vorn's only got 5 hull. And with it cloaked, the damage and crits go straight to the hull. So you need all the advantage you can get in that area. Now the last card on this build is Wharf. When attacking, if this ship is cloaked, convert all blanks to hits. He's your built-in battle station. You already want to be cloaked. He's converting all hits to battle stations. So there you go. You hit at range 1. So let's break this down with this dice here. Yeah, it's fine. We can zoom in on it. So at range 1, the Vorn is rolling 4 for its primary, +2 because of the ship ability. Okay. +1 for Lursa, and then +1 for range. So we're rolling a grand total of 8 attack dice. So let's go ahead and with this build, let's roll it. Okay, we got 1 hit. That's fine. We'll spin the battle station to convert these. So all hits. Wharf, because we are cloaked, converts all these blanks. There's 8 straight hits. What ship do you know that's going to defend against 8 straight hits? Even a Romulan science vessel, when it's cloaked and it's got its full excuse me, it's got its full complement of defense dice. That's what, 6. Say it rolls 6 evades. You're still got 2 hits on that Romulan science vessel. It's gone. It's because the Romulan science vessel only has 2 hull. Not many ships can survive a barrage like this from up close range. Again, the ship isn't getting played that often, so not many people know to stay away from this ship like that. You'll see in a lot of my games, people tend to joust with my Vorn, and that's exactly what I want them to do, because I want them to be at range 1. So let's move that over there. Get those dice out of here. So let's go ahead. So that is Skylar's build. This is, yeah, basically Skylar's build in a nutshell. If he knew he was going to get attacked and he couldn't attack back, so say an enemy ship got into his rear firing arc or into the rear of him and he doesn't have a rear firing arc or a 360 type weapon, you could flip Baitor. And then Baitor is going to add the +2 to your defense dice roll. So that's good. Yep, so that's good because then it boosts your defense and such. But I will say the one thing that I find that Skylar's original build is lacking is captain skill. Having Lursa at a 4 and then Gowron not helping you boost it, it does suffer in that category because it's going to be attacking behind a lot of ships. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to throw this build over here because I want to get the second version of this build thrown out here. And let's go ahead and... Oh, I gotta do this. I wish I would have thought about scaling these up when I was getting things ready the other day. So my apologies for those of you who are either watching live or watching this on a playback. Or over on the YouTube channel. Okay. So, let's go ahead and get these cards flipped over. Okay. So this is not 100% Chris Peters' build. This is not 100% the original I.K.S. Vorn build. It's fairly close. So it's got a lot of the same cards that we've already talked about. Gowron, Klingon Cloaking Device, Toril, and Worf. The captain's different here. Skill 7, it's Captain Chang. During the activation phase, if your ship is cloaked, before you move, you may perform an additional sensor echo action with a 1 maneuver template. As a free action, if you do so, you still may perform the sensor echo action after you move during your perform action step. So, if you remember your order of operations, you're always going to do Gowron. Okay? Before you do Gowron with this setup, you're going to do Chang. Chang is going to, you're going to move. Before you move. Okay, so before you move, you're going to activate Chang. You're going to sensor echo, either left or right, one. Then you're going to move. You're going to Galron to give you the battle station, and then you can sensor echo again to put yourself in a better position. Um, and with that second sensor echo, you used to use one or two. That's great. That helps you move around the board a little bit more. That's just another option that you can put in this build. The Vorn is like a one size fits all chassis. You're going to see a lot of these builds. I have a few more, and I took Skylar's original inspiration and Chris's original inspiration here, and I've kind of made it my own. Um, and it's going to be a detriment to me, especially if my opponents coming up in the TNG division for the Fremont Reformation League, um, if they see this video, um, it's going to be detriment because the fleets haven't come out yet, but I am running this Vorn. Um, so, um, for those who may be wondering, let me grab these cards again because I should have added them up. I didn't have the total build cost on here. Galron. Device, total, Wharf. Okay. So for that first build that I had on screen, it's 24. Plus 3 for Lursa makes it 27. Galron at 3 makes it 30. Klingon Cloaking Device makes it 32. Toral makes it 34. Worf makes it 39 points. So 39 points, you get this Vorn that's going to hit hard and pretty much be a guaranteed 8 hits. And I know a lot of people don't like the what the game's coming to, where you're just rolling perfect quality, but it's really all. I don't have a good argument against it. It's really all in preference for the player. So this build here, I.K.S. Vorn's 24, Cheng is 4, so that's 28. Gowron is 3, puts you at 31. Klingon Cloaking Device is 2, so that puts you at 33. Toral's 35, and Worf puts you at 40. So 40 SP. The Vorn gains a little bit more maneuverability. Same level of defense minus the Baitor flip. The only thing with this build is that you're also not getting the +1 attack die. You're not getting the +1 attack die from Lursa, so the Vorn's going to be hitting at 7 versus 8. So this is pretty much what Chris Peters ran. He might have a different couple cards in here other than Klingon Cloaking Device. I think there's a Klingon crew that allows you to keep your cloak token flipped if it's not if it's not in the primary firing arc of another ship. I don't exactly remember what his original build was. It's something close to this though. My keyboard don't die on me. Here we go. All right, so let's grab this third build I have, and there are quite a bit of cards with this build. Let me get these sized up real quick. Yeah, that Galron. I'm used him as a captain on this ship before too, and that works. That works well. He's just great with any Klingon ship really. I know Kempek's attack cruiser gives battle stations to all cloaked Klingon ships, and you can even stick him on that to give Kempek's attack cruiser its own battle station. It's really a good admiral. I wish that the admiral version had the bug out eyes that Gowron is known for, but you know we're getting beyond what talking about the card or what the ability is. Man, okay. Come on. I really should have done this before. Here, let's do this. Okay, that'll work. Okay, so we know the first card is the Vorn. All these builds are going to be the Vorn. I don't know why I have them all flipped over. Come on, keyboard, not now. There we go. So the second card here is Lursa, another Captain Lursa. This is not the version that came in the 2017 starter set. This is the version that comes with, I think it's the I.K.S. Toral. It's one of the Klingon Civil War ships. You may perform a cloak or a sensor echo action as a free action. If B'Etor is the captain of the ship, you may fill one of your crew skill upgrades with this card and gain +4 to your captain skill. I'm going to flip this Galron over because it's captain side that we want, it's the admiral side. So, B'Etor, if we're talking order of operations here, after your ship moves, you're going to do Lursa. She's either going to give you a free cloak or a free sensor echo action, and then you're going to do Gowron, who's going to give you the battle station token, and then you've got another free action off your action bar. So you could do an evade to help with defense, which is normally what I would do. I have played this build specifically. Lursa was one of my first go-to captains for it. Alright. So the third card is the Elite Talent DNA Encoded Messages. This is a good card for Klingons. So you get to hide 3 Klingon upgrades underneath this card. And I believe they all have to... maybe there's no point. There's no point cost to this. So you can literally hide the highest elite talent cost under this card. So you can hide 5 points elite talents and get 15 points worth of elite talents for 5. Now, the only caveat is that you are spending. You're gonna discard the DNA encoded messages for only one of those cards. So it's a very situational thing, which is not bad, because there are different situations you can find yourself in. So it's kind of a Swiss Army knife. So again, a lot of these cards you're going to see are repeats. That's because they just naturally fit on this build. So we got the Klingon cloaking device. We want to stay cloaked. I know Lursa allows you to cloak as a free action, and you can use that, especially if you hit. If you're coming in at range 2 and you attack, you hit good, and then you're wanting to recloak so you can hit at range 1 maybe next turn. Lursa is a good option to cloak, and then you can keep your Klingon cloaking device free. So B'Etor. Now, with this Lursa and B'Etor, you're allowed to put one of them in a crew slot, and if you do that, you can use their ability as a crew slot. But that's not what B'Etor is here. That's not what she's here for. She's sitting in a crew slot because she's giving 8+4 captain skill to Lursa. Now, granted, that does get affected by rule of 3, which I know it's dumb. This came out before they did the whole rule of 3 thing. So Lursa is technically only going to be a skill 7, but that's better than being a skill 4. That puts her in the same category as Chang. Okay. So we got Worf here. You always want to have Worf on this ship. he's going to be converting your blanks to hits. He just works on this ship. So these are the three Klingon elite talents that I use. So you have interrogation. When attacking, during the roll attack dice step, you may discard this card to gain a number of attack dice equal to +1 of the number of upgrades on the defending ship. Well, the ship you're firing against is going to have upgrades. So this allows you to add up to 3 more attack dice, depending on how many upgrades the defending ship has. So it's a great use at range 1, and that could build your attack dice up. Let's see. Well, I wouldn't use it at range 1 now thinking about it, because you got rule of 3. Um, excuse me. It's definitely good if you're going to hit a range 3 with the Vorn, because the Vorn doesn't give any kind of bonus at range 3. So you can definitely max it out. It really depends on what your opponent's ship has on for upgrades. So you get your 4. Say you were attacking at range 3, and the defending ship has 3 upgrades. So now you're hitting with 7 attack dice at range 3. Or you can hit with 7 attack dice at range 2. It really all depends on what your opponent's running. The second elite talent that I hide is detonation codes. Normally you never know when someone's going to bring cloaked mines. Det codes just allows you to prepare for that possibility, and then take those mines out and make sure that your ship doesn't really suffer. And the third elite talent that I hide is overwhelm. So when attacking, place 2 time tokens on this card. This game round, for each other friendly ship that attacked the defending ship this game round, this ship rolls +1 attack die and may convert blanks into 1 battle stations. Or 1 blank into 1 battle station. So overwhelm is just an easy way, especially if your ship is the lowest captain skilled. Yeah. If your ship is the lowest captain skilled that's attacking, overwhelm allows you to gain +1 attack dice for each ship that attacked. Okay, looks like I got a spammer in the chat. Apologize about that. I don't really know. Let's see here. There we go. Okay. So what's the cost of this ship? The Vorn is 24. Lursa is 3, so it brings it to 27. Galron's 30. DNA encoded messages makes it 35. Klingon cloaking device makes it 37. Baitor makes it 40. And Worf makes it 45. Okay. So the square icon here on Overwhelm means that you can only equip this elite talent to a Klingon captain. And the circle is Klingon ship. So Overwhelm can only be equipped to a ship that has a Klingon captain and that is Klingon in nature. Which in this case, it would work. So this ship comes in at, no problem. This ship comes in at 45 points. It is expensive. When I'm building with the Vorn, generally the Vorn is my heavy hitter. It's going to be the crown jewel of my fleet. So I am dumping points into it. And I will say up to this point, we have gone through 2 seasons. Well, I've played in, I think, 4 tournaments with the Fremont Reformation League up to this point. the Vorn's been involved in every single one of them, and I have done progressively better in each one of those tournaments while running the Vorn. And I do attribute that to me improving my flying skills. Um, but the Vorn has, and I've tweaked the Vorn here and there. So the Vorn has been wonderful. Okay. So this is build number 4. Go ahead and turn my menu back on. Okay. Okay, so we already know this card's the Vorn, because that's what the episode's about. The captain here, now we've got some good stuff. The captain on this build is the animated version of Core. He comes from the animated faction pack. When attacking, if this ship is cloaked, place 2 time tokens on this card. This ship rolls +1 attack dice, this attack, and this ship's cloak token does not flip. That's great. So the Vorn's going to stay cloaked. We want that. If this card is equipped to a Klingon ship, also add a hit. Wonderful. We're just adding more to our results. So if you're attacking at range 1, Core is going to give you the +1 to get to that rule of 3 cap. And then, on top of that, Core adds a hit. And that doesn't count towards your rule of 3. So, in an instant, at range 1, this ship can throw 9 dice into the side of an enemy ship. Oh, 8 dice. Yeah, 6, 7, 8. 8 dice. 9. Yeah, 9. Because I forgot the range bonus. So the second card, again, Klingon cloaking device. Like I said, it's generally a staple in this Klingon build of mine. You're always going to see me running Klingon cloaking device. Main reason is because it's so cheap to run, and it's a backup for keeping me cloaked, and it's got defense conversion, which I can't say enough. You need a little bit of defense conversion. Torpedo fusillade. Okay, so there is a trick with torpedo fusillade. Each attack, you want, when you're attacking with torpedo fusillade with the Vorn, there's a sweet spot. That sweet spot is range 2. Sorry about that. So that sweet spot is going to be range 2 because for each attack, because torpedo fusillade is a new attack, well, it's an attack. You make a separate attack roll against each ship that's in that range. That gets the Vorns +1 for being range 2 for every attack. So yes, torpedo fusillade is 4, but if you're attacking at range 2, it's going to be +1 for each attack. So you're really rolling 5 dice. And then you can use Core to give you a 6 dice on a specific ship, but he doesn't get activated for each ship. So Fusillade is interesting in the Vorn build. It's just you have to know when you're in that sweet spot, and you've got a lot of those ships in that sweet spot. It's really great against swarms that are formation flying, but I generally don't use Torpedo Fusillade in my builds too much. I found that I have a very hard time getting it off. The next card in this build is Drex, who would be the action if we're talking order of operations here. He's going to be our action in this build because we're not running Admiral Gowron, so we're not getting that battle station. So, when attacking this round, you may convert one battle station to a crit and all the rest of your battle stations to hits. Okay, so he's going to be the guy who's going to convert our battle stations for us. That leaves the last card as blank to hit conversion Worf. So when we're talking about the Vorn, there's going to be 2 cards that need to be just associated hand in hand. Anyway, it's two cards that I associate with the Vorn: Klingon Cloaking Device and Cloaking Wharf. And the reason is just because they seem to fit, because the Vorn wants to be cloaked. So you need it to be cloaked. So this build, I ran it in one tournament. Wasn't really happy with it. I wasn't happy with spending my action on Drex. I mean, it works if you're not wanting to dump a lot of points into it. It kind of works. So the Vorn, again, 24 points. Core is 5, that makes it up to 29. Klingon Cloaking Device is 2, that makes it 31. Torpedo Fusillade is 4. So where were we at? 31? Yeah. 35. Drex makes it 39. And then Worf comes in and makes it 44. So 44 points. And you can see the other build that we just showed off, that was 45 points, and it had much more flexibility and much more stuff in it. So this build, it's okay, and yeah, it looks great on paper. It's just the execution part that's hard, because you never know what your opponent's going to do and whether they're going to all line up in range 2. So that brings me to my final build for the Vorn, and this is actually the build that I am running in the tournament coming up. Okay, let me size it up here. And I know that this is going to be a detriment, probably a detriment to me. It really all depends on whether my opponents in the TNG division see this or not. But I'm okay with it either way. Okay, so we know the first card is the Vorn. The second card is... Well, let's flip that to its right side. The second card is Captain Core. Now, this is the original old Core. I think he's from the I.K.S. Goroth set. So he adds a crew slot for us. And each time you attack, during the modify attack dice step, you may select any number of your attack dice, up to the number of non-disabled crew upgrades assigned to your ship, and re-roll those dice. He's a built-in target lock. And we have 2 crew slots on the Vorn. He's adding 1, so we've got 3 crew slots to use. So he can re-roll up to 3 dice. We've got Admiral Gowron, who's going to give us the battle station. So going back to our order of operations for the actions after the ship moves, I'm always going to do Admiral Gowron, and then I'm going to do the ship's action, which more than likely or not, and not more likely than not, is going to be a sensor echo for me. I generally like to sensor echo, and sensor echoing is a two-way street. You can sensor echo yourself into better range, or you can sensor echo yourself out of somebody's arc. So those are 2 things you have to consider when trying to sensor echo. Third card in this fleet is a new card. So one of the things I found I was having a lot of issues with was that Core was a skill 8, and a lot of the players I was playing against were running skill 10 and above captains. With modifiers and stuff. So Dahar Master at least allows Core to get +1 to his captain skill. So now Core's a 9. It's a skill 9, which is not terrible, but to me it's good. In the activation phase, I may perform a cloak or a target lock action as a free action. So, going back to round 1, before my ship moves, at the start of the activation phase, I can cloak my Vorn. Just like that. Bang. Starting the game cloaked. That's wonderful. And again, I can use the target lock if I need to. There's not 100% a reason to use it, but I might use it just because the card allows me to use it. Third card again. I think I've gone over this one enough. Klingon Cloaking Device. It's there for defense, and it's there to try and make sure that I keep my cloak. Although, with Dahar Master being the way it is, I may not need Klingon Cloaking Device anymore. I'll kind of suss that out this um, this season, because there are benefits to keeping this one. And the benefit here is you're not flipping your cloak token. So you're not opening yourself up for a target lock. Whereas if you attack and then you choose not to use Klingon Cloaking Device and you decloak, Dahar Master does allow you to recloak at the start of the activation phase, but you technically cloaked at the start of that round. So your opponent can still target lock you, which sometimes is not a great thing. The next card in this fleet is Toral. Again, just another card that it provides me some built-in defense. Cloaking Wharf, which you'll always see in this build, just because he needs to be there. And now I'm running a copy of Quark. So Quark, he comes with this version of him comes with a Deep Space Nine crew pack. At the start of the game, place one non-Borg tech or weapon upgrade with a cost of 5 or less face down beneath this card. At any time, you may discard Quark to flip the upgrade that is beneath this card face up and deploy it to your ship, even if it exceeds your ship's restrictions. Okay, so I've got a card hidden underneath Quark. And that card that I have hidden underneath him, that's free, is a copy of Dorsal Phaser Array from the Alliance set. Attack, target an opposing ship. This ship may fire its weapon, or this weapon, in any direction. It's a 3 dice attack at range 1 to 2, and on the Vorn it would normally cost 4, but with Quark only costing 3 because of faction penalty, Dorsal Phaser Array is free. Now, the reason I brought Dorsal Phaser Array is because the Vorn does not have a rear firing arc. It only has its front 90, which is a detriment to itself. But now with this card, I can hit somebody at range 1, facing them, and then I can just inch my way past them and still hit them in the rear at range 1. Now, notice that the Vorn's ability is it's not locked to its primary weapon. So if you're firing Dorsal Phaser Arrays at range 1 out your rear arc, you're firing 3 dice and you're getting the range 1 bonus from the Vorn. So you're firing 5 dice out the rear. And it's 5 dice that's more than likely going to be perfect quality. Now, here is the beauty of this Vorn that I found, that I've worked my way through. So yes, Gowron gives me the battle station token. I don't need it. I actually save that battle station token for defense every single time. And here is why. So let's do a little dice math. So the Vorn is rolling 4 attack dice. Let's say the enemy ship is at range 1. Okay? Vorn's cloaked, so we're rolling +2 because we're range 1, +1 for range 1 bonus. So now we're rolling a grand total of 7 attack dice. This is primary weapon. So now let's roll the 7 dice. Alright, perfect. This is a great roll. So we've got 2 attack dice, or 2 hits. We have a blank. With core, because we haven't discarded Quark yet. We still technically have 3 crew on the ship. So, with Core, oh, I'm sitting on a dice. There we go. So we've got 3 hits, a blank, and 3 battle stations. With Core, we can re-roll up to 3 attack dice. In this scenario, I'm not going to re-roll this blank. I'm actually going to re-roll these 3 battle stations. Because the 3 results that I want in an attack roll, I want a crit, I want a hit, or I want a blank. And the reason for that is because we have Worf on the back end who's converting blanks to hits. So we want to re-roll these battle stations. Okay. So the re-roll didn't really work out the way I was wanting it to. So let's try that again. Okay. Again, not exactly what I was looking for. Mainly, I'm wanting these to return as blanks. Crit is great. But I want it to be blanks because if you go through an attack wing dice, you have 1 crit. There's only 1 crit on a dice. So there's 1 blank. There's a hit. That's 2 blanks. Oops. 1 battle station. That's 2 hits. 2 battle stations. 3 hits. And that's it. So you're changing the math pretty much into your favor to where you're going to get hit every single time without having to spend the battle station token. If you get like that first roll, my first re-roll there, where yeah, I did get some battle stations. By all means, spend the battle stations. What I like to do is save it for defense. Because say my Vorn is cloaked and I'm defending against an attack at range 1. So I'm rolling 1 defense dice because that's the ship. But we're cloaked, so we're getting the cloak bonus, which is 4 defense dice. So we'll roll. Okay, so we've got a battle station and we've got 2 blanks. 2 evades. Let's say the attacking ship ahead of us threw 4 attack dice. And let's just say they're all hits, for the sake of argument here. Okay. So, I've got 2 evades. I'm going to take out 2 of these hits. This one here gets converted thanks to Toral. Toral's converting battle stations to an evade. Boom. Now, Klingon cloaking device allows me to convert a blank to an evade. And just like that, the Vorn successfully evaded an entire attack from an opponent, throwing 4. So, I ran a version of this build in the last Fremont Reformation tournament, minus Dahar Master because it hadn't been out yet, and it did phenomenal. One of the bright stars in my fleet. I will say, if you're any of my opponents that are watching, if you really want to make it a bad day for me, target this ship with whatever you got. There are a couple linchpins in this ship, so you can have me discard Worf, Klingon cloaking device, Dahar Master, really anything, and it can make my day a little bit harder. You know, I'm not throwing as much dice as I could with this build, but it's not the amount of dice that I'm throwing that I'm worried about. It's the quality that I'm worried about. And the quality applies even to dorsal phaser array. Yeah, it's a secondary weapon, but Worf doesn't care. Core doesn't care. He just gets to reroll, and the Vorn doesn't care. So I'm throwing 5 dice, just 5 because you don't get the range bonus. But but yeah, that's that's why I think the Vorn is criminally underplayed in the game today. I don't see a lot of it in the tournaments, but I don't know if that's because of its availability or maybe just people just kind of shied away from it, thinking that the ability is cool, but I don't know how to build with it. Well, this is how you build with it. This is how you make this work. Um, I would love to see anybody else's build with it. So please feel free to reach out if you want to build with it and you're not sure what to do. Please reach out. I'm more than happy to help. If you're looking for support ships for this, you can definitely go all Klingon fleet. Um, I'm not going to get into my complete fleet for the Fremont Reformation. There are some other surprises I want to keep in there. Um, yeah, TTS takes that barrier, the scarcity barrier, completely out of the equation. Um, and it's wonderful, and I wish there were more people playing Tabletop Simulator, um, just because of that reason. Um, but yeah, I'm more than happy to see anyone else's builds or build ideas with the Vorn. I'll let you know what you think if that's what you want. Um, and if you have any other ships that you want me to try and build with, I'm more than happy to do that too. Just send me send me any kind of suggestions. I'm more than willing to listen. But that's going to be the end of this episode. Thank you for watching. I see Captain Crank has been with me for most of it. So thank you for watching. I know there was a couple other people who popped in. Um, Again, thank you for watching because I'm trying to get more of this. I'm trying to get more of this kind of content out. We've got another episode of the Captain's Table coming out tomorrow. We're going to be taking a deeper dive into the Cardassian faction pack, looking at all the cards there, looking at what combos exist and where those cards fit into today's game. So please join me for that. We're definitely going to have more of these episodes. I've got a couple other ship ideas lined up that I want to get to. Um, we're definitely going to be talking about, I think the next episode for Build Breakdown, we're going to be talking about the Money Goblin Scimitar build. So that should be fun. Definitely Ferengis on a Scimitar. Good stuff. Um, but yes, thank you again for watching. If for those who are watching after this has gone live, give me a follow on Twitch. That allows me to. That's good. Well, at least it's coming. I know people in Europe still haven't seen it. Um, so hopefully you'll get it here shortly because it's got a faction Klingon faction pack's got a lot of good cards in it. Um, Definitely check out the Captain's Table on the Klingon faction pack. Um, we give we give actually a pretty good fleet idea in that one. Um, Give us a follow here. That way you know when we go live and we do these episodes. I'm going to try and make this more than just sporadic or spur of the moment. Um, we have the Antares Shipyard YouTube page or YouTube channel. Give us a subscribe over there. Give us a like if you like what we're doing. Um, Definitely gives me more motivation to get content out. And then on top of that, we're gonna be having a new weekly show coming for the Fremont Reformation group. I believe I've got Robert Fletcher lined up to co-host that with me, to go over kind of. It'll be like a weekly wrap-up show, going over the recent matchups from the Fremont Reformation League. We'll always have more episodes of the Captain Table coming up. Definitely more co-hosts and David Montgomery and myself on that. We're finishing up all the faction packs that just recently came out, including Alliance. That'll be the last faction pack episode that we look at, and then we'll be getting into um, tier rankings for the different upgrades and captains in the different factions. So that'll be a lot of fun when we get there. Um, Definitely more build breakdowns. I kind of liked putting all this together. But again, thank you for watching. Have a good day or night whenever you're watching.